All right. So anyway, welcome again. We are now recording. Welcome to Psychology 101, General Psychology. So I'm going to be covering quite a bit of information today and hopefully get through all of our introductions, all of our questions, and hit the ground running. Unfortunately, we don't have nearly as much time to kind of expand out on some of the topics like we do with our 16-week course. And so anyway, this is 2 weeks shorter. I did confirm we will have a spring break included in here. So that's good news and bad news. That means we're going to have to cram a little bit more information in, but we all get a little bit of a break here in a couple of weeks. So that's good news. Anyway, so I'm going to bring up my slide here just so you can go along with what I am talking about what I'm going to be covering in this class. Okay. So like I said, this is General Psychology, Psych 101. I'm Dr. Patrick McMunn. And I want to at least get through all of these topics today if we can. So introductions, we'll talk about what psychology is. We'll explain what critical thinking is and how that applies to this course and what you're going to be doing with your coursework. We'll be looking at course objectives. I'll walk you through some of the nuances and particulars of our syllabus, because I know there are a lot of questions with that. We'll talk a little bit about success in the classroom. What class participation means, because it means something in every different format and every different delivery method. But for our remote learning, I'll talk specifically what participation is. Attendance and late policy, we'll talk about that. Assignments, what quizzes and exams look like, and exactly what our expectations are with APA format and doing article reviews for this course. Okay. So just a little bit about me. I kind of put some fun little pictures up there. That one on the left is me with short hair. That was pre-COVID hair. Not that I grew hair from COVID, but that prior to COVID, I had short hair, and that was the last time I got a haircut. So I jokingly said I would not be cutting my hair until there was a cure for COVID. That obviously, I don't know how realistic that is. I think it's just laziness for me not wanting to get a haircut. Anyway, so like I said, I'm Dr. Patrick McMunn. That picture on the right is of a castle in Ireland. I do a lot of traveling in my spare time, and I made it to Ireland here just a couple of years ago, and I do plan on going back. But I've been with Harrisburg Area Community College since 2018, teaching several psychology courses, lifespan development, and biopsychology as well. I love psychology. It's been a passion of mine since as long as I can remember. And it's something that I'm really enjoy bringing that passion to the course. So hopefully you pick up on that and it excites you as much as it does me. Let's see, what else? Right after high school, I went into the United States Air Force and traveled the world for almost 2 decades and loved it, and was kind of sad to leave, but a majority of my time was spent up in Alaska. I spent 11 years up there, where it was much colder than it is here, and a lot snowier and darker during the winter months as well. So that's kind of just a cool little gee whiz information. After I got out, I settled back into Pennsylvania, where I worked as a therapist at different capacities. I worked a lot with drug and addiction. I worked with run-of-the-mill depression and anxiety, at-risk youth, and I really enjoyed doing that work. I started teaching part-time as I was a full-time therapist, and eventually, just in the past couple of years, I made the transition from part-time teacher to full-time teacher, where I accepted a position down in West Virginia, which is where I am now. So sometimes you'll see sunshine right out my window while it's raining up there, or vice versa. So don't let that distract you or confuse you. Let's see, what else about me? I think that's pretty much, I'm trying to think of an interesting fact. Oh, I fly airplanes. I have my pilot's license. I haven't flown in a couple of years, and I'm pretty sure I'm decertified, but it's definitely another passion of mine and one that I hope to get into very soon. All right. So before we get into psychology, what I would like to do is I'm going to stop sharing because we have just a few people in here. And actually, I'm going to pause our recording just so it doesn't want recording. Okay, all right. So anyway, back from the introduction. So what is psychology and how does it apply to you? Many of you had already answered that, and figuring out how that fits into your personal lives or your professional lives or whatever your goals are. So our definition of psychology is basically it's a study of the mind. And we're going to expand upon that throughout this course. We're going to look at psychology from cognitive perspectives, from biological perspectives, from psychodynamic, biopsychosocial. So all of these things, I know I'm just kind of throwing out terms and they'll mean something to you a little bit later, but it's how we look at the individual and how they learn. How they acquire their skills, how they develop their emotions, how they develop their morals, right? When we think of morality. So anyway, the basic definition of psychology is study of the mind, but it expands to be so much more. And why is psychology important? Again, it fits into just about every aspect of our lives. Whether you're in management would need to know psychology. Why? Because they're dealing with people, they're learning how to communicate. And in order to do that, they have to understand not only how they're coming across, but how the other person might be receiving their message. Okay. A couple of you were in business and travel, understanding cultures and what it means to have different cultures. Because if we think that we're isolated in whatever our societal values and norms are, that could set us up for failure or disaster when we go to a different country or a different culture and we act in a way that we think is appropriate, but it might be somewhat offensive to them, which again creates barriers. So my definition of psychology is our ability to relate to other people and to tear down cultural walls so we can be connected. I mean, that's essentially what we do with our new skills. We'll talk about some of the professions that people in psychology get into. It could be, it could range anywhere from therapists, that's probably the most common type, to researcher, that's probably another common type, to university professor, or industrial organizational psychology, or marketing and management psychology, because that also requires understanding people and groups of people and spending habits. So anyway, those are just some of the things we'll cover with that. Critical thinking. I like to really help people understand what critical thinking is and why we do it. Probably one of the hardest things to help students overcome, in my class anyway, is questioning everything and finding scholarly sources to back up what they're saying. We all have our own experiences. We've had our traumas, we've had our joys, we've had, a full range of development over our lifetime to get to where we are today. And because of that, we have to be pretty sure in our own abilities to survive. We've gotten this far, right? So we kind of base a lot of our opinions and a lot of our thoughts on our own experiences, which is good. I love relating personal experiences, but how do we look at it from a scholarly perspective? And that's kind of where critical thinking comes in. I'll give you an example. I heard a couple of years ago, I think it was like on the Today Show or Good Morning America or something like that. The buzzword was men who shave live longer. Okay. Sounds cool, right? Sounds really interesting. And it's something that grabbed my attention. I'm thinking, holy cow, maybe if I shave, I can live a little bit longer in my life, right? Because we all want that. It was kind of a selling point. What didn't resonate with me is, how could that be? Why why would it be shaving has anything to do with lifespan? And I had to do my own research. I had to dig into that to find that men who shave tend to be more employable, okay, or at least groomed, shaved. Men that are more employable tend to have meaningful relationships. Also, at the same time, men who shave also tend to have a positive outlook on themselves and take care of themselves a little bit more. And on top of that, men who get into relationships tend to have better overall quality of life, and better all quality of life and better health leads to longevity in life. So that's kind of how they got there. But my critical thinking skills went into high mode and thinking, well, it's not just as simple as shaving, living longer, right? There are other steps in there. So my advice to you is question everything. As you can see, the definition here is critical thinking is the objective analysis of facts to form a judgment. The subject is complex and several different definitions exist, which generally include the rationale, skeptical, unbiased analysis and evaluation of factual evidence. So question everything. If something doesn't sound right, question it. In some of your assignments, you're going to be asked to relate some of these topics and concepts to your own personal life. I implore you to do that, but do it with scrutiny. Do it with backing up your comments with factual data, either through scholarly journals, or you can even use your textbook. A lot of students use their textbook because it's got a lot of wealth of information, especially pertaining to the topics we're dealing with. So that's what I mean by critical thinking, especially in this course. All right, so some course objectives. These are in your syllabus. I'm not going to go over these line by line, so we'll kind of just breeze through that. So what does it take to be successful in the classroom? Obviously, we're going to need our books, and I'll explain why in just a little bit. But our books are going to be kind of our guide to what topics we're covering and the order in which we're covering them. Additionally, I have quizzes set up within our course that are drawn directly from the textbook. So if you don't have the textbook, that could be problematic for your quizzes. Also, again, using them for your assignments. A lot of the assignments that I posted on D2L are directly from the topics that are in the psychology textbook. So if you don't have that textbook, again, you're going to have to provide your own resources somewhere else. So yeah, you can get the textbook and that'll save you a lot of time. And I do have it set up through Revel. I'll explain the differences here and what our expectations are in just a little bit. Be on time and be prepared. I do take attendance with this course. I'll explain the attendance policy in just a little bit. But how I do that is I take a snapshot before, somewhere in between the beginning and the end of the class, and then at the end of the class, just to see who's here and who's not here. And I also have activities that will be engaged in that if you're not participating, that could affect your grade negatively. Okay, have a positive attitude. You know, this is a fun course. There's really not a whole lot of dry information in here. I picked this book because of its ease of use. I think it's got it's not too sciencey. I think it's at the level it needs to be for an introductory college course at HACC. So I think you'll find it relevant to today and the topics that we're dealing with in the news and in our personal and things around the world, going on around the world, our personal lives. Ask questions. You know, if something comes up that you're just not sure about, I have multiple ways you can get a hold of me, and I'll walk you through some of those appropriate ways. And well, actually, I'll let you know now. So getting in touch with me, I'll show you. We have a general discussions forum within HACC, and I'll show you where that is. But I look through that daily, and I answer that daily. The other way to get a hold of it is students tend to want to just email me directly, and you're welcome to do that. But I will say I get a lot of emails. I think this semester I have about 350 students. So I get a lot of emails, and some days it's a couple days that I would even get back to you. So if you have something pressing, email probably isn't the quickest way to get a hold of me. It would be better if you posted it in that that learning, or I'm sorry, the general discussion questions forum. If you have something of personal nature, like grades or something you don't want everybody else seeing, then that would be more of an appropriate way to email me. Okay. And then I also have office hours, which I'll explain how to get a hold of me for that as well. Let's see, no cell phone use during class. I have no way of monitoring that. And plus, many of you are probably on your cell phones while you're in my class. So that one's out. Respect others' opinions. Some of the topics we're going to be discussing and uncovering in here are probably going to be contentious, right? These are going to be some hot button items. You know, some of the ones that have come up in the past is people's view on abortion, people's view on child raising, people's view on treatment of psychology clients or something like that, right? So LGBTQ gender issues, right? Those things oftentimes come up and might get a discussion going. So be respectful of others' opinions. You know, it's perfectly okay to come here with your own opinions and respect others, because we expect people to respect ours, right? So keep that in mind as some of these issues come out. Show professionalism during class topics. You know, again, I think that's a no-brainer. We're all adults here. I generally don't have any issues with that. Track your own grades on D2L. I'll show you where to do that. There's sometimes I have students with the tendency to email me and ask me what their grade is for the course. You don't need to, because it's all on there. And again, I don't think it really applies to this course because you're all here. So obviously you found the link, you got into D2L. So I'm assuming we're all there. The important thing here also is meet deadlines. I have deadlines set up through the syllabus. I have deadlines set up through D2L. And they, for the most part, they both jive well. They communicate well with each other. Sometimes they're a little off. Go by the syllabus. Okay. I don't accept late work. I do have opportunities to make up that work later on in the course, but we don't necessarily really know how that's going to look. So the best policy is get your work done, get it in on time. So that way you can get credit for that. Okay. All right. Class participation. Assignments are mostly done in class. We're going to have class activities that we will count towards those assignments. And I'll explain more of that a little bit later. Let's see, come to class. Okay, that doesn't really apply. Yeah, some of this I use for my face-to-face classes. So I apologize if some of that information is not pertinent to this class. Submission are due by due date and time, no exceptions. I already talked about that. Attendance, I'll get into. I have to track attendance for financial aid reasons, and the dean follows up with that. There's nothing I can do about that. So if we are looking at having too many absences, that does get reported to the registrar, and which ultimately goes to the dean. So that's not a personal policy of mine. My view is you're paying for this. You're going to get out of this what you want. But again, this is school policy, so we have to adhere to that. If you have absences, you're responsible for all your missed notes and makeup work. There's also a tendency for students, if they have to miss a class, which sometimes it happens, life happens, people have doctor's appointments, surgeries, they might have some family issues that they need to attend to. That's all fine. But I don't really take notes on my stuff. I have slides that are available for you, but it's up to the students to reach out to other students and see what they missed. Oftentimes I do record these and I post them to our D2L, our LMS, so you can view them at a later point in case there's something I said that you want to go roll back on and find. Quizzes must be completed to D2L. Again, that's a no-brainer. Assignments submitted to D2L. I'll show you where to do all that. Kind of just flying through this. And quizzes, I'll explain how quizzes look also in just a little bit. All right, APA format. Just to kind of cover this briefly, I do use APA format. I believe it's my job as an introductory psychology course to introduce students to APA format, mostly because a lot of students that come through this course are psychology or nursing or some kind of science field, which means you're likely, if you're psychology, you will use APA format again. Now, I know I say APA format, that just kind of raises tension and anxiety. Now, don't worry about it. APA is not that bad. And once you get the hang of it, it kind of makes a little bit more sense each time. It is far different than Chicago style and a little bit different than MLA, but there are some similarities. So the gist of it is we will be learning APA and how to do that. And I do kind of hammer on that as far as giving feedback and letting you know, grading you based on that format. If you have issues with APA format that you just think you need a little extra help and a little extra support, contact the Writing Center at HACC. They're there to help. They're glad to look over your documents or your assignment to see what it is you're missing or whatever it is you can improve upon, and they'll help you with that. Also, you have available at your disposal is the tutoring center at HACC, which they will meet with you one-on-one. And if you're having issues with understanding an assignment or what the expectations are for the class or whatever your question might be, if you feel like you need that extra level of support, please, please, please use the tutoring center at HACC. And again, I will have those links available to you in D2L. Okay. Peer-reviewed journals along with APA format. I'll walk you through probably next class what peer-reviewed journals look like and how we can get through them, because you're going to be doing 3 journal reviews through this course. So it's going to benefit you to know how to get into the databases, retrieve these journals, find something of your interest, and read through it successfully, and then be able to extrapolate information from that to synthesize your own understanding of or review of what you've read. Okay. All right, extra credit. I have multiple times throughout the semester, I have opportunities. Movie nights, we're not really going to be able to do live. I tried that last semester and it doesn't work so well via Zoom. So we won't be doing anything as far as movie nights. We will have movies that we're watching, but those will be on your own time. And I'll explain how those look in just a little bit as well. Research participation, there might be some opportunities through HACC or the community or something online that I usually am pretty plugged in with researchers. And if they're looking for anything, I'll send that out to you and you can all participate and get some extra credit that way. Community events, if there's anything that crosses my ears that you could participate in, or if there's something that you know of that might benefit, like it might be a suicide prevention demonstration, symposium or something. What I would ask you that you do is forward it to me before that event occurs. And if it's something that I think is worth extra credit and that could benefit other students, I will send that out to everybody and make it available to everybody. I've had a couple times I've had students say, hey, in 2 hours, we have there's a symposium, there's a guy doing a lecture on ADHD in the classroom, which is something I would normally give credit for. But being that they just gave me a couple hours notice and I could get it out to everybody else, I wasn't able to really accept that as extra credit. So very important, let me know, give me at least 48 hours notice if you learn about it, so that way I can get it out to other students so that they can maybe attend as well. And then article review presentations, we're really limited on time this semester. I'm going to kind of see how we get through this stuff, but we may have some opportunity towards the end of course to do article review presentations for extra credit. I'll get back to you more on that later if we do have time. I put the schedule together. This is the first time I taught a 14-week course, and it's pretty packed. It's going to be a lot of information for 14 weeks. But I do have all the topics scheduled. I just don't have the article. I don't know if we'll have time for the article review presentation. So more to come on that. Miscellaneous office hours. Okay, not posted on my door because this is a remote instruction, so none of you will really be able to meet me in my office. However, I do have office hours through Calendly, where I'm happy to meet with you via Zoom or Teams, whichever method you prefer, and I'll show you how to access that in a little bit. Okay. Don't worry about class check-in or anything like that. Are there any questions? I'm gonna before you ask any questions about D2L, I'm going to walk you through D2L, how I have it set up, what the assignments look like, and I'm also going to show you PackBack because I think quite a few of you probably have never used PackBack. So I will walk through those. But any questions up until this point?
I had a question.
Sure, go ahead.
About the textbook. Is it available online, or do we have to buy it or anything?
Oh, hold on one second here. I lost my mouse from my screen. There we go. Oh, no. I apologize. My mouse just completely died on me here. Bear with me. Sorry.
That's fine.
This is embarrassing. That's why you should always have a fully charged mouse, I guess. All right. So your question was, is the textbook available online, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'll show you is how to get that. If you go into D2L, the home screen, there's in news and announcement, there's a link that will take you to the textbook. Now there, you can get the textbook through. All right, we're connected now. Okay, good. Let's see what. All right, share my screen again. Psych 101. Oh, that's not it. Okay. All right. So the textbook, you can buy through HACC, or you can buy in really any version you want. Okay. I'm not going to be using, for many of you that have used Revel before, I'm not going to be using any of the Revel features. So it's loaded with quizzes and assignments and videos and all sorts of things in there. I don't use those features because I've already translated all those over into our D2L. I'm really not a fan of crosstalk, making requirements in other systems other than PackBack, and I'll explain why I do that with PackBack. But for the most part, all of our work is going to really be done in D2L and PackBack, and that's it. So if you want Revel, I made Revel available so that students, it's a cheaper option than buying the book new. But if you find it through Amazon, you're more than welcome to use it through there. Okay. But if you want the hard copy book or the e-text, whichever version you want, just make sure that it's the correct version, which I'll show you in a minute. If you use Revel, within my welcome message in D2L, you see I have a nice little welcome. This is our class link. If you ever lose it, you can access it here. Also, Calendly, I told you before, if you want to set up some time with me to meet with me after hours or in my office hours, you just click on that link here, and that will give you some times and dates that are available to meet with me. Okay. Communication, anything APA related format or study related questions, I encourage you to use the Writing Studio and Tutoring Center. Reason being is I try and keep a really tight schedule. I'm really here to help you understand psychology. I'm here to introduce you to APA format. And for the most part, a lot of students have some knowledge going into this class. Some don't, but some pick up on it quickly. But if you need that extra layer of support, I encourage you to use the Writing Studio for those issues. Attend scheduled Zoom sessions. That's probably the quickest way to get quick answers on assignments or whatever you have for the class. And then of course, general discussion forum, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then of course, if you have personal issues, that you don't want to be broadcasted on general discussion, email me directly. For PackBack, which I'll walk you through in just a little bit, this is how to register. Some of you may have received an email. If you didn't, no big deal. I'll show you how to get in there and set that up. But essentially, PackBack is going to be our participation grade for this course, okay? Because some of you are able to make it to Zoom. I do take attendance on that, which will be part of your grade. However, for those that can't, I have a more interactive way to do this, and that's through PackBack. And it helps to kind of deepen our understanding of whatever topic we're dealing with that week. And again, I'll let you know how that works out. For this week, with PackBack, all you have to do is answer my question. I have one in there, and I'll show you how to do that, but that's just for this week. Starting next week, you'll have to have your question due by Thursday and 2 responses by Sunday. And again, I'll show you where all that stuff is and how to register and everything, okay? And then if you did get a Revel access code, this is where you would enter that. You would click on that link there, and that'll take you to the course that I have set up for Cicerelli's Psychology and Exploration, okay? So that'll get you access to the ebook. Like I said, there are some activities and assignments in there you're welcome to use, but I'm not going to necessarily be requiring it. All right, let me go to our syllabus here. Walk through this, and I'll go back to D2L because there's some things I want to cover in here. Pretty straightforward on the syllabus. A lot of stuff that the school had me required to put in here. And then I have my personal stuff, the stuff that I want in here. Again, if you need my office hours link, that's located right here. And the Zoom link is up here at the top of the syllabus as well, in case you forget them or need another place to look at. Again, your course objectives and goals. Here's the book. If you need the book, this gives you the ISBN for, I believe that is the one for the Revel. But yeah, it is the Revel one, but it's a 4th edition, and it's by Cicerelli and White, Psychology and Exploration, whatever format you want. This is a little bit of information here as to what you can do for that, either ebook or rent or whatever. Attendance and grading. I count up to 3 absences, unexcused absences, which will not affect your grade. Okay, so if you have something come up, or you're working, or if you have kids and your babysitter bailed on you, you don't feel like being on Zoom with how many ever kids you got, that's fine. You can have up to 3 unexcused absences. However, if you are somebody that has medical reasons, or something might come up that you think that you're going to need some medical time off or something like that, that will count as also your unexcused absences. They will be excused, but let's say, for example, you have 4 excused absences and you've been able to provide excuses for those. Okay, if you have beyond that, if you have 2 unexcused absences, that will affect your grade. Okay, that will drop you down 1 grade point. So be aware of that. Although I do only count 3 unexcused absences, those are in conjunction with excused absences. So if you're somebody that needs a lot of time off, I would maybe pocket those unexcused absences until you're sure exactly how much time you have off. So, but this will give you a pretty good rubric of what I'm looking for as far as attendance and grading. Up to 3 absences, you're fine. For 5 unexcused absences, your final grade will be reduced by 1 letter grade, 6 or 7 by 2 letter grades, and 8 or more would be an automatic withdrawal or drop from the course. Okay, so please be aware of that. Documenting excused absences, this can't be from Uncle George, whoever, if anybody's Uncle George. This has to be from somebody that's qualified in the medical field, saying that you were excused for medical reasons, or if they were, unfortunately, sometimes people experience deaths in the family. If that happens, something from Red Cross just saying that you're attending the funeral or you're traveling or something like that. But they do have to be from qualified professionals and not just Uncle so-and-so who says you're not feeling well today, okay? Students who are late, they can be marked as late. So for example, if I take attendance at the beginning of class and you show up in the middle of class or at the end of class, that will be marked as a late, and 2 lates will equal an unexcused absence, okay? Reading assignments and quizzes. Every week, we will have a quiz a quiz or a midterm or final exam. Okay, that happens every week. Now the quizzes, I kind of made interesting here. I don't put a whole lot of stock into quizzes as a means for grading your knowledge on stuff, because I'm fully aware that this information can be looked up multiple means, and I don't really have a way to really proctor the exam. So what I do have is I have about 20 to 30 questions that are pulled from the book. And that information can be, if you have the book, you'd be able to read along with the book, or maybe skim the book beforehand and then take the quiz, and that will let you know where to find this information. But out of 20 to 30 questions, I only randomly select 10, or the system randomly selects 10. Those are the questions that you're responsible for answering. If you miss any of them, and you take that quiz again, it might be different questions. It will be different questions. So you're not guaranteed to get the same quiz every time. And I'll kind of explain how this all fits together with the midterm and final in just a minute. But anyway, the bonus is you can take these quizzes as many times as you want, and I take the highest score. You are required to take it at least one time before the due date, okay? But beyond that, you can take it as many times as you want to try and improve that score if you need maybe a boost in your score. But I do require that you get at least an 80 on each quiz each week. Again, we do take the highest score for that. Class participation discussion, we'll be using PackBack, which I explained earlier, and I'll kind of walk you through what that looks like, but it is 12.75% of your grade. I will advise you, let you know that this is free for HACC students, okay? So if it asks you, if PackBack asks to charge you, I think it's $29, let me know. Contact PackBack and let them know that you're a HACC student, and then if they don't resolve that for you, let me know. But HACC students should not be charged for that at all, okay? As far as the assignments go, every week, similarly, instead of 10 points, which the quizzes are due, the assignments, each assignments are worth 20 points, okay? So we're going to have 12 of those throughout this semester for a total of 240 points. And I'll show you where all those are located as well. But here's a rubric in case you want to know how grading occurs with those assignments. Exams, we'll have 2 of them. We'll have a midterm probably around week 8 or 7 or 8. I can't remember. We'll look at the syllabus here, or the schedule, in just a minute. And then we'll have one at the last week of our course at week 14. Now, the exams, they're based on all the chapters. So, for example, up to that point, for example, if our midterm has chapters 1 through 6, and the final exam has 7 through 13. So within those, you can, again, take those quizzes as many times as you want to practice, or about a week before we have each exam, I'm going to open up practice exams, which cover all the items, and you can take those as many times as you want. Just to caution you, I don't give you the answers to the ones that you missed. Those are ones that you're responsible for looking up on your own, but it will tell you which ones you got incorrect, so you can go back and you can study that and get your correct answer, figure out what your correct answer needs to be. So as we get a little closer to the midterm and final exams, I'll explain this a little bit more in depth. Article reviews, we're going to have 3 of them for this semester. Article reviews, and when we get a little closer to week 3, I'll talk about what my expectations are with these article reviews. But your first one is 50 points. Your next 2 are 75 points each. These are all the exact same assignment. The reason why I made the first one 50 points is, first of all, to make it an even 200 points. I think that was probably the most important reason I did that. But the other reason, I want this to be a learning process. I don't want people to be overwhelmed. So by lowering the points, I'm kind of lowering the risk. so that way I can, you'll feel more comfortable learning through this first assignment, and then I can go back and give you better details later as to what you can correct for future assignments, which are worth more points. Okay, and again, as we get a little closer to the article review assignments, I'll explain a little bit more in detail. Movie reviews, we have 4 of those as well at week 4, 6, 10, and 13. All of these movies should be available to you on HACC. I did check them last semester and they were active. So if you click on these links, it may ask you to log in to, I think it's Swank, Kemp Library or Hack Canopy or something like that. Whatever those links are, it should take you there. If they don't, put it in the general discussion forum so that way other students are aware. I think one time I changed the movie out from last year, but one of them had disappeared from Swank Library, and the students had to get creative in how they watched it, either bought it through Amazon for, I think it was $1.99 or something. So just be aware, check those links before Sunday midnight, before that assignment's due, just so you know whether or not it's working or where you might need to get that movie. Okay, but those are worth 25 points each, and the details are located, the instructions are located in D2L, which I'll walk you through here in just a minute. Again, late assignments, I don't take them. Let's see what else here. There's a course breakdown. If you review my grading policy below here, this will give you a breakdown of what I would expect for an A. For example, if you get 11 out of 12 assignments, or meet any of these minimum standards, all these minimum standards, then you're online for an A, regardless of what D2L grade is telling you. If you meet these requirements, you'll get an A. Okay, if you get a grade of B, again, meet the minimum, but not quite the minimum of A. But as long as you meet these minimums, you'll be in line for B, so on and so forth with C. And I kind of build that in just to give you some flexibility, because some students might have an off week where they can't complete an assignment, or they weren't able to participate or something. I don't want this to be a perfection course. So if you weren't able to make it, then you will certainly be in line for whatever grade you can see on here. So that'll give you a sense of what we look at. And then of course we have our school policies here, Title IX, special needs. If you have any complaints or concerns, you can contact these links here, people from these links here. Now, with the schedule of events, this is where everything that is due in the course, this is where you'll know it's due. I do have them loaded in D2L, but sometimes there are some questions as to what's due and when. If you have any questions, this is where you can find it. This is for sure what is due and when it's due. Okay, so there's no mistake about this one. So if in question, go to your schedule of events and look to see when it's due. And I have each week set up very similarly. So week 1, for example, we'll have our syllabus quiz due by Thursday. Our initial PackBack will be due by Thursday. PackBack reply due by Saturday. Assignment 1 due by Saturday. Quiz 1 due by Sunday. And every week is pretty much that. Initial PackBack Thursday, assignment due Saturday, PackBack due Saturday, and quiz due Sunday. And then when we get into article reviews and peer feedback, like week 3, those will be sprinkled in along with movie reviews. But that should give you a pretty good sense of what we're doing and when. I will like to point out that I had to make this change since we are on a condensed schedule. So for week 8, we have our midterm due. Okay. Our midterm is due. Also, we have quiz number 7 due that week. Unfortunately, usually I give students the week to prepare for the midterm exam. Unfortunately, with this being a condensed schedule, I couldn't afford that luxury this time. So we will be doing chapter 7 and the midterm simultaneously that week. Okay. All right. And then of course, spring break on week 5, that's coming up in less than a month. Yeah. So you get 4 weeks of work and then spring break. That's a pretty good deal. All right. Any questions on the syllabus before I move back to D2L? Okay. Am I still alive on here? Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Just thank you, Maida. I just wanted to make sure I've done that before. Talked for about a half an hour and looked up and realized I was offline. So luckily that's not the case today. All right. All right. So let me go back to D2L so I can show you how the course is set up. Sorry. Okay, there we go. All right. So again, when you get into D2L, the first thing that pops up is our news and announcements. Any major news and announcements like extra credit, anything that changes to the assignments, any major announcements will be located here, along with all those links I told you about, getting set up for an appointment, office hours with me there. Our Zoom link is there, PackBack setup instructions, Rebel textbook, all that good stuff, okay? What I really encourage students to do is to stay away from these three. I don't know if you probably can't see me. Can you see my pointer move around on here?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I encourage students to stay away from clicking on discussions, Dropbox, and quizzes, unless you're looking for something really specific, because they tend to be not so well organized. For example, if I click on quizzes, it's going to give you a whole list of quizzes, but it's up to you to figure out when the due date is. You'd have to, it's just not very easy. Same way with Dropbox. I do have all the assignments listed in there, but students would have to scroll over here and look for the appropriate due date, which is just kind of not very, I organized it the best I could. It's just not, not very user friendly in my opinion, for students. I don't know, maybe you're somebody that likes to use those and that's okay. But as an extra layer of organization, what I like to do is within content, I like to organize everything under here. So that way it's good ease of use for you. And it's a way for you to find out exactly what's due and when for that week. So we'll start here with overview. If you get into overview, I got a nice little welcome message. And you can read through that at your leisure. And also I have a copy of the syllabus. So if you lost the syllabus, or if it's lost in your email, you accidentally deleted it, you can get in here and you can either view it or download it yourself. And that's pretty much everything that we just went over with the syllabus. So it's the exact same syllabus. Some students use course schedule to look to see what they have due when. I've had some problems in the past where I've had stuff that was scheduled that either didn't show up in there or showed up with the wrong date in there. I always caution students, don't rely on the course schedule. Look in the syllabus and look under the weeks that items are due, okay? Within course content, we have our discussion rubrics, what I'll be looking for with discussions. So I have a lot of APA resources here, such as looking up how to do database searching. I'll show you briefly, probably on Thursday, how to do this stuff. But for the most part, if you have any questions or if you forgot what I've taught you, you can go into the library, you can go into these videos and see how to do like advanced database searching, okay? How to do hanging indents. A lot of students don't understand how to do that or don't know how to do that. Within MS Word, this will show you how to do that. How to write a thesis statement. We won't be doing anything with abstracts or let's see, or outlines. We won't be doing any outline work or abstracts in this course, so you can use them if you want, but we're not going to be using them. Okay, so those are all under course content. General discussion questions, as I told you before, within general discussion questions, if you click on this link, this will take you to a forum where you can, you can look, first of all, look, if you have a question about an assignment or something that's going on in the course, you can look in here. If it's not in here, you can start a new thread and ask your question that way. And again, I review this daily, so this is the best way to get a question answered that you may have, okay? So going back here, so that's under general discussion. Also, to register for PackBack, I'm going to encourage all of you to do this today when you get off the phone with me or off the Zoom link with me. But if you click PackBack, this will take you to the registration where you need to go, okay? Use platform cookies. It might ask you some questions, and then this will take you to our community, okay? Finish setup. So for this week only, all you have to do for PackBack, you don't have to create a question. You can if you want, but you don't necessarily have to. All you have to do is answer my question. How does psychology pertain to your career field or your personal life? The reason why I just do this simply is just to give students a chance to register, get familiar with what PackBack looks like, and then next week we'll be doing our Ask a Question Answer 2. Okay, but just for this week only, if you want to just answer my question there, just to get the ease of use for doing that, that would be fine.
Sorry, I have one question. Do you mind going back to and showing me where that was again?
Yep. If you
Thank you. Sorry.
Yep, if you go under general discussions, so these are also under each week, and I'll show you where those are as well.
General question. Okay.
Yep. So PackBack, if you go into general questions, PackBack link will be there as well, and then it'll take you right to whatever registration you need to do, and then it'll let you into our site here, our community. Okay, when you ask a question, so get so I already asked mine. So what you'll do next week by Thursday is you're going to ask a new question. Okay, so your question could be similar. You know, how does psychology, or let's try something new. What different career paths are there in psychology? Okay, so that's a question. Now, for your question, it has to be open-ended, which means it can't be answered in 1 or 2 words. Okay, so this is something that somebody would actually have to have a sentence or even a couple sentences to answer. All right, so that's how your question should be designed, is open-ended and thorough, right? You're going to want to elicit as much information as possible from that person. Below this is, why are you asking that question? You can say, according to Cicerelli, sorry. 2021, blah, blah, blah. They say psychology, blah, blah, blah. You know, have maybe a paragraph or 2 in there as to why you're asking that question. And then when you get down here, cite your source. All right, so Cicerelli. I'm not, let's see, White, 2021. Okay, and APA format, you know, just, you know, and you can look up at how to do references in APA format within that. So enter those 3 pieces of information, and you're going to get full credit for your post. And then you just hit submit post, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so and again, your first week, I may be giving you feedback on how to do that. And then that's by Thursday. So we're going to leave page because I don't want to keep that up. And then by Saturday, you'll answer 2 of your peers' questions, because they're going to ask questions by that date, and you'll be able to go in there and answer them fully. Okay, so any questions on PackBack? And again, I have pretty good details and instructions on what's expected in that. Okay, good to go. All right, so moving on, that was within general questions. We have start here. You're welcome to get in here and do an introduction if you want. We did introductions today, so I'm not, there's no grade for that, but you will be required to do a syllabus quiz, and it's pretty easy. You got to get 100% before you move on to having our week 1 assessments available to you. So just go in there, take that quick little quiz. I find most students don't have a hard time with that. There's no video introduction, so don't worry about that. You're seeing stuff that you shouldn't be seeing, so disregard that. Class videos. This tab, I have some videos in here already, and these videos were from previous classes, just in case you wanted to see something that I haven't posted yet. It usually takes me about a week or two to get these videos. I have to download them from the cloud. I have to edit them. And then I have to upload them to YouTube and put all the tags in. It takes a little bit of time to do that. And I usually do that on the weekends. So yeah, these are where you would be able to find those videos, okay? Within each week, so we have 14 weeks, I have 14 modules in here. So within each week, each one is organized very similarly. We have the overview, we have the resources, we have the discussion, and then we have assessments. So overview, just what it sounds like, just a brief little overview as to what the course entails, and then gives a little narrative as far as what's expected that week. If you click on that, you'll see what I'm talking about here. So just a brief little introduction, what the learning objectives are for that week, tasks to be completed, and then what assessments are due, okay? So that's under overview. And then under resources, I have our PowerPoint slides that sometimes I cover them, sometimes I don't. I might have different slides, or I might have a different lecture for that week. But anyway, these are from the publisher, and you're welcome to use them to either guide along with our lecture, or use to maybe help along with your quiz or whatever. So those are available to you, along with other links. Maybe I'll, Zach earlier brought up, he had an article review, or an article that he had found. I would post that in here very similarly. If you have something interesting, I can let me know and I can post that in here. But anyway, these are for just added information for you. I do like crash course videos. I think they sum up in 10 minutes. Of course, it takes them like 2 hours to make the videos, but they're able to condense it into about 10 minutes and explain some of these concepts pretty concisely and quickly. So I use those just to, again, further your understanding of what we're talking about that week and some of the concepts. For the discussion, again, this is just a link to PackBack, and this will tell you when it's due, and it should show up in your calendar when it's due and when it's available to you. Okay, so just click on that. So every week you're going to kind of just click through discussion, click through assessments, just to see what all is due. And then when you go under assessments, again, it tells you assignment 1 is due, gives you the due date, gives you the instructions, and then you just click on that and either submit it or whatever is needed to complete that assignment. And then of course your quiz 1 will be listed in assessments as well. And then when we get down to, like, for example, let's go to week 4, for example. We'll have not only assignment number 4 due, we'll have quiz 4 due, but we'll also have the movie review due. So this, again, this is a great way to keep track of what's due and when. If you just click on these tabs and click on assessments, it'll tell you what's due that week. Okay. I think that's it. Did I miss anything? Are there any questions so far?
I had a question.
Okay. I can't see who asked what, but go ahead.
So my question was for the first assignment. Did you want that like in paragraphs, or like, because it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4. So did you want it in like a paragraph form, or did you want it in like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 thing?
Good question. All of your responses are going to be in paragraph. So this should be an essay. Now, you don't have to have a paragraph for each one of these, but if you want to just do like a couple paragraphs and no more than, well, let's see if I put a requirement on here. I don't think I did. This one shouldn't take you, you could probably do this in a page, maybe 2. Most of these assignments aren't anything more than 2 pages long. You can do a title page if you would like to. I always recommend getting practice with title pages, so that way I can give you feedback if it's a good title page or if you need more. But absolutely do this in essay format, and then at the end of every assignment, you should have a reference page. So whether you're using this as a reference or using the book as a reference, most students just use the book. Even if it's asking for your own opinion, you should be able to relate it to whatever topic that is in the book and use your book or some other source to qualify your answer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Bridget. I heard somebody else chime in. Was there another question?
I had a question.
Go ahead, Maddie.
Is there an access code to get the textbook?
The access there, so the access code for the actual, you would need to purchase that either through HACC or through Revel or Pearson Revel. Again, if you click on that link that I showed you in news and announcements, like if you go to course home, this should take you there. Okay. So if you go under Revel and textbook registration, click on that, and that'll give you the option to purchase that. And I think for like $19 more, you can also get the hard copy version of that. I will say, if you are waiting for a textbook, say you purchased a rental version or something, and it's on its way from Amazon or Chegg or whatever else, if you click on this link, it will give you a 14-day free trial. So that way you're not running behind on any of your assignments. So click on that link, register, get the 14-day demo version, and that way you can do the quizzes and follow along with the course without purchasing for up to 14 days. Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to know, because every time I try to go on to get it online, like access it online, I need an access code.
Okay. Did you purchase an access code?
No.
Yeah, you can do that through HACC. HACC Bookstore has that available, or you can click on that link and purchase it directly through them, whichever you would like to. Or if you find it cheaper, find the hard copy version. You're more than welcome to use that, and you don't have to necessarily register or anything. So it's up to you, however you want to do that. I just have that available because it's available now, and it's cheaper than the brand new version of the textbook.
The
Okay.
sorry, can I say something real quick? Madison, the at the HACC store, it was $82.35. $82 to purchase it on ebook. So
Yeah, it's like $80 to purchase it on here.
Yeah.
So
And I think the brand new version, the brand new book, if you bought this brand new, it's like $220. It's ridiculous. So I picked the cheaper model and the one that's readily available. But yeah, like I said, if you want to rent it from someplace and get it for, I've heard some places get it as low as $20 for the semester. You're welcome to do that. Okay.
Thank you.
And then I had another question.
Sure.
For the assignments that Bridget was talking about, how you wanted us to write it in like pretty much like an essay. Did you want that in the APA form?
Yep. All assignments, all work is turned in APA.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yep. Any other questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. Well, that means either you're all asleep or I did a really good job of explaining things to you. So I'll take the second one. All right. Well, anyway, that's all I have today. We will meet again on Thursday, same time, same channel. If anything comes up in between, again, use that discussion questions forum. I will answer that. I'll be on there today, probably around this afternoon. So if you have any questions that pop up, put those on there and I'll answer them this afternoon. Okay. But other than that, if nobody has anything else for me, it was so great meeting all of you. I look forward to a quick semester with all of you. Not that I want it to be quick, but that's just what it is by design. But yeah, we'll get through this together. We're going to have some fun and have some good activities. So take care, stay healthy, be safe, and we'll see you all here Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
Yep. Bye-bye.